Hey guys, it's Flawkes, and today I wanted to go over some quick questing tips, or, well, I guess you could use it in other situations. You can use it for a world boss, I guess, and maybe for PvP. I'll go over that really soon, but I've noticed some people have been asking questions like, oh, I'm stuck on this and this stage. You guys have any tips or any advice on how to get through this? I don't know, I feel like I spoke to a few friends who started playing the game, and when I told them how I played, or how I use certain skills, or save certain things for bosses or whatever, I realized they didn't do that, and they didn't know. And once they did, they blasted through the rest of the storyline. So I figured I'd share with you guys some tips and tricks. So let's go. Actually, let's just pick something. Sure, let's do a volcano one. Oh, we can just do the last stage with my mediocre team. This is actually my farm team. I'm not actually, it's not actually my full team. Yeah, I couldn't really do this with Mew because Mew didn't generate enough blocks for my Archon, so I had to use my Joan. Unfortunately, my Joan and Archon are already maxed, so at this point I'm only training my Vayne. But whatever. That's not important. The point is, I can still beat the stage even without a very, very, very powerful team. It's just you gotta know certain tricks. So the first thing I should probably go over is saving certain skills. Every character has SP skills. Once you charge 100 SP, you immediately get a skill like that. It's circular. It's not square. So for bosses and such, you want to save as many as you can while still going through the regular mobs. So like these waves, you still want to obviously use enough so that you actually get through these waves, because otherwise you're going to die before you hit the boss, right? But, if you can, try and save as much of the SP skills as you can, because the whole point, it's best to just burst down the boss before, I don't know, the boss beats you up. That's really it. Oh no, my Joan died. Oh, see, I was talking too much. I actually didn't use enough of my SP skills, and my Joan straight up died. I think I should still be okay though, because Joan jump started me with quite a few blocks. But that's one thing, just to save up SP. And the second thing is, if you notice my spawn, if you notice the spawn times, you can actually start casting your skills when the wave is dead, and when it says like wave 5 of 6 or whatever, you can actually start casting your skills. And if it's a piercing skill, if it's not like a non-melee skill, it'll hit them. So the advantage of that is that you can actually start hitting all the mobs beforehand, so that you can kill as many of them as possible before you actually reach them. That way you don't actually have to like face tank any of them. Oh, am I gonna beat this? Oh, perfect. I beat it barely. My Joan was not supposed to die. That doesn't happen very often, but unfortunately she did. I still made it. So yeah, I'll show you. Let me run something faster actually to demonstrate this. You can do this with archers. Archers are actually really easy to do this with because pretty much all archer blocks except for the arrow rain one will just pierce through the entire stage. So anything that's spawned will get hit by it. Let's do something easier. Let's do the desert ones. So desert boss. For this one, I don't have to bring Joan. I can bring. Might as well bring my Mew. Vayne still isn't level 50 yet. Bummer. So yeah, I'm just training everyone with my Archon. So this one has to do with spawn times. This is honestly just something. This probably won't make too much of a difference, but it can speed up your runs. So my Archon, I casted it before I even saw the enemy on my screen. This is because mage skills, certain skills, it's targeted at a certain position relative to the enemies. So if it's, see right now if I cast it, you can barely see it, but it's still hitting the enemies, right? See, look at that. I almost cleared that whole wave without even seeing any of the enemies. The advantage of this is that my team just took like no damage, right? I killed them off screen. So very handy, very useful. So if you're running like a squishy team, or if you don't really have a good tank, or you don't want to bring a tank even, like you just want to train all your units that are like non-tanks, or like all, all priests or all archers, or all hunters, whatever. That's the way to do it. So you probably want to try and kill them before they get to your screen. Sometimes if you do too early though, like if you do have Archon, if I do too early, the meteors might actually just cast right in front of me. But that rarely happens. That's if you're like really, if you're still casting it while the enemies are still alive. So yeah. So most skills that are non-melee, they will hit past your screen on the right, so you can just start casting your skills much earlier. Besides that, you'll notice I saved a lot of these manage cycle blocks just for the boss, so I can spam it, so I can kill it really fast. That's honestly the key to just blowing through all these stages as quickly as possible, because the less time you have to deal with the boss, the better, because that's less time for the boss to hit you and potentially kill you. Yay, Vane's done. And let's see, I went over saving SP skills and then spawn locations. What else can I show you? Oh, you know what? Let me use Dart. Actually, I'll show you one more thing. This one has to do with when I activate goddess skills. So let's just bring Abel. Doesn't really matter. This is something that you can apply to any game mode actually, because as long as you're using a goddess, this will come in handy for you. Depending on what goddess specifically, I guess. So let me just try and get an SP skill first, and I actually need to charge my goddess bar. Okay. Hold on, I need some open space to show you guys. Let me just clear this way first. Okay, here. Okay, watch the bullets. If I activate it, half of these bullets turn. Okay, maybe not. maybe not that one. I screwed that one up. Hold on. It's hard to show you unless I'm at the very end screen. Basically, the moment you activate your goddess skill, that's the exact moment that any of your attacks will start dealing like extra damage. Say, because right now I'm using what's her face? Bella. So the moment I activate Bella, from that point on, all the bullets are shooting out of Dart will be enhanced. So if I was shooting bullets beforehand, they would have been like tiny bullets, and then the moment I hit Bella's goddess skill, the bullets will turn big, and they'll do Bella's extra 50% damage. So this is important when you have a skill such as, skills that have long animations. This one actually might not have been a good example. I probably should have used, Phoenix Feather. Phoenix Feather, you know how Phoenix Feather takes forever? You have to draw the bow, and then you shoot the Phoenix? You can activate Bella after, like, while you're drawing the bow. So just before you release the arrow, that's when you can pop Bella. That way you can get every single second out of your goddess skill. Honestly, not too big of a deal, because if that like split little second matters, then what you're doing probably is a little tough for your team. It might be worthwhile to just train your team a bit, but it's just like the minor details, right? And this goes the same. This is the same with like all the goddess skills. So like when you're using Anat, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sarah, yeah. The moment you tap it, that's the moment the goddess skill takes into effect. So for Sarah, this is obviously really important for world boss. So the moment you see, like, if you're perfectly timing it, the moment you see the boss performing an action or like shooting out a particle, or like, like right now when the dragon starts breathing fire, you can literally tap it that exact moment, and you'll start blocking the attack with like Sarah, for instance. So it's worthwhile to mention it. But again, this is really minor. This is probably not going to affect your gameplay as much. It's more important for you to keep in mind things like saving as many of your SP skills as possible to just nuke the boss, because honestly that's the best way to deal with it, just to burst down the boss as soon as possible. And the other one is, again, not too important for this one, but the moment you see that wave, like the wave, 4 or 5, or wave, like, wave 2 or 3, the moment you see that font on the right, that's when the monsters actually spawned off screen. It's about 1.5 screens away. So if you have any like long range skills, like long range attacks you can use, you might as well use them right then, because then you can start hitting the enemy way earlier. And if you can kill them before they get to you, then they'll do no damage to you. So that's the best way to go about it. Besides that, I don't think there's really anything else to mention. No other tips and tricks in regards to questing. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Can't really think of anything else. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to post it in the comments below, or send me a private message on this channel, and I'll try and get to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, hope you guys, hope you guys have fun doing whatever you guys are doing. If you guys have finished your quest, farming for those 6-star weapons for World Boss, oh, so much effort, or in PvP, hope you guys are having fun. So, I'll see you around. Peace.